Back at the UWI Captain Horsburgh Centre of Excellence for the opening game of the Jamaica Premier League season for 2022. And it's Arnett Gardens, five-time champions, up against Cavalier, who are the defending champions at the moment, and getting ready to continue the superiority they showed over Arnett Gardens last year, George.
Yeah, Cavalier really have had Arnett Gardens' ticket in the past few seasons, and they'll be hoping that they can punch that same ticket once again. All right, let's go to the coaches' interviews now. The first interview Lance did with Eric Rademacher, the assistant coach for the Arnett Gardens team.
Eric, Arnett Gardens will start things up for the 2021 season. Not a good season last year, 9th in the table, unlike the normal Arnett Gardens performance. How is the team shaping up for the start of this season?
Well, we were able to put in a lot of work. As you mentioned, there was a lot of work to be done from last year. We got a lot of new players in, new coaching staff. So we really had to start from scratch, but we have really seen a lot of progress the last few weeks, and excited to see if we can bring it out today on the field.
Yeah, the conditions really hot as we saw last season. How will the players cope with that?
Well, some of them got used to it from last year, but really it's a certain mindset that you try to realize. Both teams have the same situation to deal with, so let's be the one that mentally is able to deal with it better.
Yeah, the COVID issue has caused the Jamaica Premier League to have a completely different look from previous years, sanitization, vaccines and so on. Has that impacted on the team any?
Well, I think we even reached a stage as a society where we're more normal now to deal with it like that. But of course, having no fans, no supporters, different venues, as you say, 1 o'clock in the hot sun here is not something we've been training at all. So, it's something that, as I say, is out of our hands. So we just try to focus on things that we do control and make sure we have those things in order.
All right, and final question. You're up against the defending champions to start. What is your plan for the opponents?
Well, I love to start against the defending champion. You're right away, know where you are. Of course, we study them. We know how they play, how we play. And we're going to make sure we try to put some pressure on their defense and get a win today.
Yeah, the man with the last name, Rademacher, you may see it and wonder where it's from. It's of North German and Dutch origin, Eric Rademacher. So put that one in your notebook. All right, Lance also spoke with David Layla, the assistant manager at Cavalier.
David, the usual feeling is that when a team or a person becomes champion, they automatically become better, just knowing that they are champions. Is that so with Cavalier going into this new season?
Well, the team has been improving, that much I can tell you. So going forward, we hope that we will continue to improve and so show that we are true champions.
Last year, you had a good season. You were second in the regular season before winning the title overall. How satisfied is the Cavalier management with the sort of success you had last year, given the fact that you hadn't won the title for such a long time?
Well, with every success, you know that there's always that thing that you can lose or you might lose because there's all the little nervousness about you being a champion and everybody at you. However, we are expecting to do one better than last season in terms of winning the first round, if that is possible. So we are looking forward to that.
Yeah, talk to me quickly about the conditions here at this UE Captain Horsburgh Centre of Excellence. The players had difficulty with the surface and also the midday heat. How prepared are you for that today?
Well, as last season, both teams are playing on the same surface. The weather condition is for the same individual, but at the end of the day, we have to just do what we have to do with whatever surface we get. The truth is, it's football, and this is where we are playing it. We have to adjust to it.
COVID and vaccines and so on, sanitization and so on, a lot of it similar to last year, but probably even stricter this year. Has that impacted on the team any?
Not necessarily. We just have to do what we have to do. And that's just the reality. We know that the season we are in, and COVID season as it is, so we just have to do what we have to do.
Yeah.
That's how we prepare.
Just less than 4 months since the season ended, the 2021 season ended. What has happened in the 4 months, and how well prepared are you for the start?
Well, we had given them 2-3 weeks break, and so they did well with that. They went back to their home and enjoyed themselves, and then we called them back in, and we are prepared now.
Berylton Nemard is the man with the whistle this afternoon, being assisted on the lines by Richard Washington, Kemoy Gale and Damien Coombs. The coin toss, the opposing captains, there's Romeo Guthrie. Third year of Premier League football for Arnett Gardens, second year as captain. There's the Arnett Gardens roster for today. Price, Simpson, Cunningham, Airborne, Slowly, Martin, Johnson, Guthrie, Deacon, Cephas and Cunningham. Only 3 of these players were on the field when Arnett played their last game in the Premier League last year against Harbourview and lost by 1-0. Simpson, Cunningham and the captain Guthrie were those 3 players. Eric Rademakers, the man with the Dutch background, formerly with Ajax, having the coaching duties today. And they're the defending champions. 7 starters from the final last year against Waterhouse in the starting roster today. White in goal, Topi, King, Ming, Leng, Ainsworth, English, Maxwell, Webster, Colin Anderson and Dwayne Atkinson. White, Atkinson, Webster, King, Leng, Ming, Topi, all on the starting roster in the final against Waterhouse last year, and 7 of them on the starting roster today. There's Rudolph Speed, technical director of the Cavalier team, the defending champions, and also head of the technical committee currently of the Jamaica Football Federation. Teams kneeling at the moment for violence in Jamaica, we're told. Crime rate in the country escalating to extremely high levels, and everyone playing their part in standing up against it. Well, I say standing up, although they were kneeling, George.
Yes, indeed. The kneel gesture is the most powerful stand-up gesture you can have in support of various causes, including BLM, Black Lives Matter, and violence in Jamaica.
Yes, not too sure what to expect from these 2 teams today. Opening game of the season, and Cavalier with a kickoff immediately. Long ball down, looking for Kyle Ming. Quick appeal there. Urgent appeal from the Cavalier men about a handball there. And Shivani Willis, George, former Boys Town and Portmore, in his first outing in the red and black. But here comes Cavalier. Strike on goal from Atkinson, was it? Diving effort. Just knocking the ball for a corner. Yeah,
defensive midfielder losing the ball just outside the 18-yard box. Bad place to turn over possession, Shivani Willis. And he'll want to, well, it's almost as if he hasn't woken up. He's sending apologies all round. They need him to be sharp.
Yeah, so Arnett committed to having a better season than they did last year. Right across the box, and Arnett in transition with Cephas, just trying to protect the ball there, but quickly challenged there by Brian English, knocking the ball out of his path. Very robust, challenging in midfield early for the ball. Deacon. There were times last year, George, that Arnett looked pretty solid in defence, but their biggest issue last year was in offence. They scored only 8 goals in the 10 matches they played last year. No team scored fewer goals than they did, so they were the worst in offence. Even Humberland, who finished bottom of the table, had more goals than they did. So that's something the coaching staff would fix this year.
Yeah, because my hearing is very good, I won't ask you to repeat, but it's still incredible to think that an Arnett Gardens team can play, 10 games and score 8 goals?
Yes.
I don't think it has ever happened before in any other 10-game stretch in their glorious history.
No, certainly that's something that Coach Tiga Davis and Rademakas would have to work on. Deacon knocked over there. Free kick to Arnett way over on the right side.
He's very good at drawing fouls, Damari Deacon. Knew he was going to be tackled, and any contact he would have gone over. Didn't have much room on the sideline, and he got what he was working for, a free kick wide.
Windy and hot the conditions here at the UWIJFF Captain Horsburgh Centre of Excellence 5 or 6 red shirts for Arnett Gardens across the box, but they're outnumbered by the men in white from Cavalier. Defending. Strong effort on goal from distance by Janoy Cunningham, versatile player coming from the back this time. Had a couple of offensive duties in some of the matches last year, Cunningham did. And there's speed. And sitting on cloud 9 these days after his work last year lifted Cavalier to their first Premier League title in 40 years.
Yeah, what do you know? A collective up yours to all of the people who've doubted him over all these years. And we know that in the football he's made, I won't say enemies, but there are a lot of people who have no time for Rudolph Speed for various reasons. And he's still laughing at their expense for what he managed to do with this young team last year. Tremendous achievement. Arguably, Lance, I'll say Cavaliers' JPL win is the biggest achievement of any top flight team in the last 2 decades. I can't recall a team where the odds were against them. The profile of the team wasn't what a winner's profile was supposed to be. And how they won the competition has to be the greatest Premier League achievement in the last 20 years.
Yeah, and ended it in style as well, defeating Waterhouse, who were contesting their 3rd consecutive Premier League final and were favourites last year to win the title, and Cavalier toppled them. Usually a good passing team, Cavalier, and evidence early that that is so again now.
Yeah, you remember 1995 English Premier League, Alan Hansen famously said after Manchester United were beaten at Aston Villa that he will never win anything with kids. And Alex Ferguson went on to prove him wrong. For years now, Rudolph Speed has been hearing that. You'll not win anything with little boys. You're not winning a big man's competition with little boys. And he has won it.
He has. Deacon being tracked by King. Arnett filling up the midfield area. Atkinson, English. Delightful ball through by English. Cunningham stops the advance of Colin Anderson.
Rapid forward, Lance, Colin Anderson. Really, really rapid. Among the fastest players in the league. Can't think of two who are quicker than him. And he was eyeing that one. The ball was just imprecise. The accuracy of the pass just not on, or he'd have been off at the races.
Janoy Topi, former Camperdown standout in Manning Cup football, had a couple of seasons in the USL Championship. Back home and helped the team to title success last year.
Played at Bethlehem Steel, did he?
Yes, he was at Bethlehem Steel at one point, I think, yeah. Shivani Willis, who is against him at Arnett Gardens, also spent some time at as well. Willis having a brief stint in the USL Championship, did he, after leaving Portmore.
I think he has a personal challenge to get his career back on track, because when we saw him at Portmore, we saw him at Boys Town early, we saw him at Portmore as well, he really looked like a national midfielder of the future.
Yeah.
And he still has a lot of time on his hands because he's still only a young man. But you just believe that this season for him individually is going to have to be a big season to get him back on track.
It was on the fringes of the national setup as well when the local players were involved. Shivani Willis, as recently as 2 seasons ago, I think. Determined work there from Schumann. Johnson. His cross went behind though. And there's Willis trying to fit into this Arnett team. Coach Rademacher spoke to us pre-match, George, about new players injected into their setup and the expectation that they'll do a lot better this year than they did last year.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's good for this Arnett Gardens team, this young Arnett Gardens team. I think it's good for them that they're not playing at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex at this time in this transitionary period. So these boys won't be burnt by the vapid criticism from the crowd, who have been weaned on better have grown up, have lived on better in terms of better on-field performances, and their team carrying the most potent threat as a Premier League side, especially when you come to the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. These boys will be shielded from that. I think it's good for their development.
Yeah, a lot of pressure when you represent a team like Arnett Gardens. The fans tend to be pretty unforgiving, even though we've seen many times, George, when coaches tend to get more of the irate reaction from the fans and players.
For sure.
Oh, good skill by Webster. Webster thought he was offside, I think, and didn't go to retrieve the ball. Corner again. So Arnett's defense line being tested. And there's Rademakers. He is strategizing for Arnett Gardens today. Yeah, I thought Webster knew he was in an offside position, so didn't challenge for the ball.
Yeah. I make an observation about the experience in the Arnett Gardens team after this.
Poor corner to the near post. But Arnett will kindly give the ball back to Atkinson. Almost getting the shot off. The goalkeeper gets in the way.
Corner again.
Yeah. Yeah, Arnett living dangerously at the back.
Yeah, very much so. It wasn't a good corner, but the Cavalier boys made it untidy, and from a scramble, almost breaching the Arnett Gardens defense early. Yeah, it was a poor corner. Kicked some of the turf, and then the clearance from the corner, the first clearance, was awful.
There's the second corner, a lot better this time. And the header just goes over the top. Was that Topi getting there?
Yes.
Oh, that wasn't too far away, was it?
No, but Cunningham seems to have gotten his head in Topi's way and took a blow. He's down for the count early. But yeah, that was much better. You have a man of Topi's height, you utilize it, and he was at the near post. First post header he won, but under challenge from Cunningham, he couldn't get to steer it goalwards. This is it. Maybe even been an arm that struck Cunningham when Topi sought to elevate himself. I was going to say to you, and you would know this, of course, given your vast experience covering the Premier League in Jamaica. Can you remember a time when they've always been young players around Arnett Gardens, for sure. But one thing in every Arnett Gardens squad has been veterans and super veterans that the youngsters then come into the team playing with and catch the level and then move on. So when the Charlie Smith boys from 95 came in, they came into the team with veterans there. Even when the 88 Manning Cup Charlie Smith winning boys moved into the Arnett Gardens Premier League team,
yes,
it was a veteran team that they were going in to support. This is the first time I can remember so many young boys in this Arnett Gardens team. It's a different kind of transition for them.
Yeah, completely different. And it is a genuine illustration that Arnett are rebuilding, and rebuilding pretty much from scratch. I was making the point that for Romeo Guthrie to be appointed captain of the Arnett Gardens team last year and only his second Premier League season just highlights or accentuates the point you were making.
Absolutely. So I'm looking at the bench and I'm looking for the experience, and I see Fabian Reid, and I can't see anything much beyond that. So Parker Blacks, as they call him, he's now the veteran of the Arnett Gardens team.
Yeah, of course he wasn't there last year. But a pretty quiet start here, but conditions very tough. It's very hot. It's also very, very windy. So aerial balls like these will cause problems with players judging the trajectory, because a lot of times the ball will just hold up in the wind when it's airborne, and sometimes gain velocity as it goes through the air if the wind is behind it.
Yeah. There he is, Fabian Reid. He's now the veteran of the squad. 2 seasons ago, when he was front and center of everything they were doing well, there were several players in it who were fast and more experienced, playing for Arnett Gardens than he was. And now he's the man.
Yeah. Ball right across him. J.D. White has no difficulties, really.
That was from Deacon. He's looked the brightest Arnett Gardens attacker so far. So they're trying to find a way around from their right-hand side Arnett Gardens, and less so Ajuma Johnston on the left, but they've gone to Deacon a lot so far in this game.
Cunningham commits a foul, free kick to Arnett, pretty high up. You were right there about Fabian Reid, though, George. He was leading goal scorer for Arnett Gardens for 3 consecutive seasons until a couple of seasons ago, he had a pretty much a tame year, and Kemal Malcolm and Paul Wilson had emerged as the most prolific scorers for Arnett Gardens in those 2 years. But Wilson isn't there at the moment, and Kemal Malcolm now plays his football in El Salvador. And good to see Reed back, because his experience is something that they'll benefit from. You didn't see a touch there, did you?
Yes, it was a clip. It was a studs on the ankle.
Yeah, but it was sort of, the fall was belated.
Yes.
Free kick to Cavalier. Several white shirts creeping into the box. Good work, Guthrie. Deacon. Oh, delightful ball across. Got entangled there. Did Airborne and the Cavalier defender both fell. And just a shout of anxiety from the Arnett men on a possible fall on Airborne.
I think he should have done better with this. The weight on it was good, but he was under pressure, to be fair to him. Richard King wasn't giving him an inch, and King's attention is what threw him off. But that was good play again from Deacon. Again, he seems to be the go-to man. In the streets, they call the kind of player Deacon is, Lance, the puller. And you say, why? They say, well, the player who can pull the defense apart. So Damari Deacon is that puller. There he is in the Arnett Gardens team. Will fancy himself one-on-one against any defender on this pitch in a white shirt. When he's in the mood, he's good.
And King did a good job on him just now as well. Part of Cavalier's success last year was due to their solid, robust defending. Conceded only 9 goals in the regular season. Only Veer United, who we know being a Donovan Duckett team, conceded fewer goals than they did.
Yep. The only thing with playing Deacon on the right for me, Lance, because he's left-footed, he's always looking to come in and come in on the dribble. Sometimes I want my winger to be able to go either way, outside especially, to get around and then make the cross from that wide position. But it's a feature of football nowadays. The wrong-footed winger, the right-footed winger on the left side, the left-footed winger on the right side. That's what Arnett Gardens are doing with Deacon today.
Got through under some pressure there just now, but took it well on the chest initially. Yeah, disappointing there for Arnett Gardens. Simpson wanted the ball back and didn't get it. Here's Anderson. Does well, Anderson. Protects the ball well. Ambitious ball across there from Ronaldo Webster. Giovanni Leng does well in the left full-back position and goes to the safety of his goalkeeper, Jaylene White. Very, very solid goalkeeper, White. Probably regarded as the best local-based goalkeeper in the country at the moment.
Happy for him that he was central to Cavaliers' title success last year. Oh, bad play again from Cunningham. He's had an up and down first half so far, Lance. He's done some good things and done some silly things.
Yeah.
But yeah, this young man was under a lot of pressure. The critics saying that, well, you left as one of the best, as the best schoolboy football goalkeeper in the country, and you haven't progressed. And he was bothered by that. He said that in interviews. But he's proving that, yeah, the promise is being translated into serious talent.
Yeah, here's Cavalier. Good cross inside. Oh, that's wide, just wide. Should have done better on the far post.
Kyle Ming, how could you? Lonely, invited to run through. No Arnett Gardens defender picked him up. And Kyle Ming just never approached that ball with any confidence. No conviction whatsoever. Very well worked at the corner. And this is a training ground set piece if there ever was one. And all he had to do was steer it goalwards. And I don't know what was going through his mind. Look at him.
Yeah.
Bad approach to it.
Arnett in transition. Cephas tries to use pace to get by King. His cross is good. Beyond Guthrie though. Fine strike on goal and wide from Deacon.
Deacon again.
Yeah, collected it. Well, hit it firmly but wide.
Yeah. The run was beautiful down the outside. The cross, as you said, was good, but none of the forwards gambled. And then Deacon just decided, well, if you're not going to have an effort, I'm going to have one. Would want to have that bend. But again, the right foot not the strongest, but he's still able to shoot with it rather accurately. That one just missing the mark.
Yeah. So we've seen opportunities for both teams. Sifa showing really good skill on the ball here. Johnson goes all the way back. Willis. Johnson has Cephas to his left, but he goes straight. Airborne failing to collect the ball well, a little off balance as he received it. Atkinson to Anderson. There's some big, strong attacking players. You don't knock him off the ball too easily.
Nope.
There goes Ming. Being chased by Cephas. Ming is getting away from Cephas. Loses his balance from the Cephas challenge. Free kick to Arnott.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about that foul because he was driving into a dangerous sector and Cephas really wanted to get to him. Didn't want to be racing him inside the box and then be tempted into a challenge there. So was just trying to unbalance him before he got to the 18-yard box. Good run by Ming. Looking to make up for that very, very bad miss just now. Yeah. That should have been the opening goal of the contest.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy opportunity on the far post. He was unchallenged. Just didn't get a proper connection on the ball.
Yeah, there's a thing about instinct in those dangerous positions that your defenders and some of your midfielders don't have that. That's why the strikers are different. The attacking players, an opportunity like that presents itself, your eyes light up, and you take it.
Floated to the top of the 18, got through under some pressure. His pass out looks a little short, but Arnott are coming away with the ball still. Poor pass, aiming for Deacon, but Deacon doesn't have the pace to collect that ball.
Well, Lance Bolt would have struggled because Arboin was standing just the yards. It needed to be apart. He wanted to play it into space for Deacon to chase. No need to do that. He could have played it to feet because Deacon was advancing at a good clip. Guess what? It's the first game of the season, so yeah, you expect to see some points of uncoordination and imprecision.
Yeah, Layla said after their title success in early October, the team was given a 3-week break to relax and get themselves together before training restarted. So, based on those comments, they would have been back in training probably since November. I'm not too sure how intense the training would have been, though, because there was uncertainty about when the new season would have started. Cavalier marginally with more ball possession at the moment at 51%. But this is an even game at the moment. Best chance going to Cavalier with Ming missing from the far post. Arnott have also had a couple of forays down into the Cavalier defensive third, but they haven't been able to make it count either. We're much midway the first half now. And here's Deacon. Yeah, he was looking there for Cephas. Cavalier defender got in the way.
Yeah, but you see what I mean, though. He had the ball in space on the right, and then immediately, because his left foot is the stronger foot, he was looking to check in to play that cross, to play that lateral pass. The defender knows that Deacon is not going to go outside. He's not going to go all the way down the line because he doesn't really want it too long on the right foot. Dangerous still, but yeah, that's the weakness of playing a wrong-footed player on a particular flank.
Atkinson across the harmless Price and goal for Arnott Garns has an easy job.
I want to put in context, though, what Cavalier did in winning the league last year. Of course, their famed attacking three of
Marshall and Hamilton.
MMH, I was trying to remember that. Marshall and Hamilton. How do you use three players like that and win the league after you've let them go? That again shows you how good what Cavalier did last year was.
Yeah, That's
not many teams can do that. Can lose even one of those players and go on to win the title in their absence. You lose all three almost at the same time.
Yeah, pretty solid point there. Marsh was their leading goal scorer with 12 goals in the aborted season. Now playing his football in Costa Rica. Maxwell with 11 goals and Hamilton with 10 previous seasons, 2017, 2018. And Marsh with 9 goals then. All of them now playing overseas, and Cavalier have been able to not only sustain their efforts but flourish without them.
Yeah, you're not losing only guile and pace, tremendous pace. Those players are among the fastest in the league, especially Marsh. Although some people may think Hamilton. The thing is I think Hamilton is a faster player than Marsh, but not with the ball. Marsh with the ball is something else. And then you use goals, so many goals, and you lose them almost all together, and you go on to win the competition. It shows you that the project was very well handled by Speed and the company. It wasn't him alone, Speed, Layler, and the whole team to pull off this accomplishment, which is why I'm saying, Lance, I struggle to think of a greater Premier League success than what Cavalier did in the last season.
Yeah, very solid point. And, new feature of Premier League football here in Jamaica, water break, midway each half in these midday conditions. Very, very searing heat, and the players appreciating the time just to break and to get some liquid into their systems.
Speaking of new features, the disinfection machine that they have on the far side of the field, the thermometry and disinfection machine, also a new feature, rather fancy. I had a little walk through earlier, as the viewers would have seen, and it's to aid with screening, ensuring that no players with elevated temperatures, there it is, are allowed onto the park, or any official for that matter. And yeah, good to see the league rising to the table in association, of course, with Connex, who supplied that machine to make the process easier, to be able to trust the numbers that you get, and not only to trust the numbers, but to also do a disinfection. I think I may have said disinfectation. In my head, I'm saying that. Asian mean, of course, as a suffix to deal with, an action, to suggest an action is being taken. But yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, the flags there are telling you about the windy conditions existing here at the moment, and yeah, the aerial balls are affected by wind from time to time. So strategically, the coaching plan may take that into consideration as they move the ball about the field. No goals midway the first half. Arnett Gardens and Cavalier, two-time champions Cavalier. Arnett have been champions 5 times. Only Portmore have won more titles than they have. Cavalier on the advance. Wow, that was a wild kick. Probably 2 or 3 times the height of the goal.
Yeah, it was being closed down. He was by 200 guards, defenders. One of them is at Cunningham, who's picked up a knock. Maybe. Yes, he is. Took a blow early in the game and required treatment from the sidelines. Getting that again. But he rushed across to his time in the advance. Cavaliers so far struggled to get Dwayne Atkinson into the game. He was a revelation last year.
Good work by Ming. English trying to get Ming back in. Juma Johnson playing well at left full back. Johnson, former Tivoli Cavalier and Boys Town player, Juma Johnson. George, you may remember him. Padded attacking duties then. Here's Cephas breaking away for Arnett. He's in a left full back position for Arnett. His shot is deflected by the good challenge from Topi. There he is. Airborne trying to find some room, doesn't get it. Willis with a strike, it's blocked as well by English. Oh, look at the white shirts of Cavalier at the back defending their territory. And Arnett having no way of getting through that.
Yes, 7 men in white shirts in the 18-yard box just now, just looking to crowd out the few Arnett Guards attackers who were threatening their goal. And a good run, another good run from Ronaldo Cephas, who's done some good attacking work down this left-hand side so far for the men in red and black.
28 minutes gone in the new season, George, and I don't want to be presumptuous, but we have seen some new movements here from this Arnett Gardens team approaching the first half, or that would suggest that they are probably setting themselves up for a better season than they had last year.
I suspect so. Look, they say lightning doesn't strike the same place twice, unless you're Usain. You're striking everywhere multiple times, but you struggle to think that they'll have as bad a season this campaign as they did last year. They were rotten last year, and that goal stat you gave underscored how bad they were. 8 goals in 10 games? Nah, that's not Arnett Gardens.
Deacon. Guthrie goes away to the right, but Deacon still has it. Now Guthrie. He has 2 red shirts in the box to aim for. Willis under pressure. Being tackled by at least 3 Cavalier men. Topi with the header out. Yeah, there's Johnson. His first touch poor though. And this is sprinting to try to retrieve it, but his first touch was too heavy. Yeah, I was mentioning Johnson here, George, in the left fullback position. Previously played for Tivoli Gardens and Cavalier, so spent some time at Boys Town. Being used as a left fullback player here, and looks to have a lot of energy and giving Arnett a lot of options here on the flank.
Never seen him in a defensive position. When he was at Tivoli, he was used as an impact substitute. When they were chasing a goal,
yes,
that's when he would come on.
That's right.
He's reinvented himself then as a defender. In all the time we've seen him, we've never seen him play defense.
No, I have not. Has made some darting runs down the left side here so far in this match for Arnett Gardens, and I like the width that he's giving Arnett and the speedy option down this flank.
Yeah, work rate as well.
Guthrie. Airborne. Don't think that pass was intended for him, but he stopped it. There goes Anderson. He has a lot of pace. Webster. Oh, good skill by Webster. Shoved over. He wants the referee's whistle and doesn't get it.
Yeah, I think he was trying to buy a free kick there with that chop back.
Good football from Arnett. Deacon, can he get his cross in? Left-footed strike to the near post, and Jaden White with the save. That was vital. That looked pretty smart from Arnett.
Very slick from Arnett Gardens, and again their danger man, Damari Deacon. Everyone knew he wasn't going to strike with the right foot. So I think that helped Jaden White, knowing that the stronger foot, the left, he would always go to the left, which is what he did. So Jaden White could have positioned himself and would not have been caught by surprise by the switch from right to left. This is the play once again. Nice 1-2 ball around the corner from Arbor, from Guthrie.
Guthrie. Willis. Still Willis. The left-footed strike from Guthrie. Crashed into. Here comes English on the counter.
Danger.
3 against 3 at the moment here with Atkinson loses his footing, loses the ball as well, and Arnett are in transition with Johnson on the left.
Yeah, he was falling as he tried to make that pass, Atkinson. Promising counter attack coming up to nothing.
Wow, ambitious effort from a long way out by Kimani Airborne with a heavy James Harden beard.
Yeah, look at this 1-2 again. Nice flick around the corner, checks in on the left foot, and White on point, on point. Here's why this is not a foul. Look at what he does. He was not going to get around there, and the defender is obliged to use his hands like that. So the referee wasn't going to buy that, especially given his positioning close to the action.
Earl Simpson gets the ball back, and Cunningham puts a lot of pressure on.
Rather odd to see a man so young being called Earl. Earl is one of those throwback names, lads. Good afternoon to our good friend Earl Moxham.
Yes.
Who is the typical wearer of a name like Earl. A man of his vintage, yes?
I won't comment on that, Jordan, because I'm a good friend of Earl Moxham. So I'll leave it there.
Everybody's a good friend of Earl Moxham.
12 minutes to the halftime break. And Arnott have acquitted themselves well so far against the defending champions. Willis, delightful ball. Aiming there for Cephas, but just a little bit too much weight on the pass. And I think Cephas was looking for an inside run, and Willis went on the outside with the pass.
Yeah. Speaking of Earl Simpson, that's Shivani Willis. Speaking of Earl Simpson, he has a lot to do to become the most famous Earl to play for Arnott Gardens.
That's right. Albeit Byron Earl was the Earl's surname in that case.
Yep.
Cephas. 4 red shirts in the box for Arnott. Cephas's cross doesn't find any of them, but the rebound comes to Deacon. Deacon goes with a right-footed strike, but Kenroy Campbell gets in the way.
Yeah, the Cavalier boys having their hands full trying to contain Damari Deacon. So you would know by now, watchers of Premier League football on Sportsmax. You know his nickname, we've heard it screamed from the crowd many times when we were doing Arnott Gardens games. They call him Hustler, and from his play you can see a lot of hustle in him.
Yeah, bit of a fiery temper as well. Atkinson, Campbell.
Good hustle again from Hustler.
Yeah. Less than 10 minutes to the halftime break. This is a pretty intense battle. Arnott just edging the production stats now at 51%. It was the other way around 15 minutes ago. Paul Teague Davis now the man on the books as the Arnott Gardens coach. His second stint here, having spent some time at Arnott probably 10 years ago, and had a stint at Montego Bay United as well, and Mount Pleasant. Willis. Easily read by Topi. Very, very intelligent and tall Jamoy Topi. Yeah. Cavalier a little bit nonchalant at the back there and giving the ball away.
I love how Arnott Gardens are playing so far, I can tell you.
Yeah, Guthrie goes wide. It's overlapping slowly. Deacon's cross inside is good, but King reads it well. Here comes Willis, strikes at goal. Topi gets in the way as well. Johnson. King, tower of strength in central defense for Cavalier gets. There's the hustler, dipping and stepping over. Cunningham with a strike from distance.
Against his captain's wishes, who wanted him to relax, hold the ball. Turnover, danger.
Yeah, Simpson does badly here. Cavalier with an opportunity. And challenge on Atkinson. Referee Nemhard sees no offence committed. And Cavalier are disappointed.
Lucky boy. First of all, Earl Simpson has wheels because Dwayne Atkinson was in top gear and he's very quick. But he was good enough to keep pace with him. And then the lunging, desperate last-ditch slide tackle. He just got some ball, and that's why the referee saw nothing wrong with the tackle.
Marlon Martin for on it. Goes back to Cunningham. Cunningham to his captain, Guthrie. Guthrie's passes really well cut off there by Giovanni Lang. Whistle from referee Nemhard.
Yeah, Lang fouled as he tried to break out of the fence. So Arnott unafraid to play the high line because they're confident that the defenders they have can stay with Anderson and Atkinson. And that's saying something. That's a lot of confidence because those Cavalier boys are quick. So Simpson, it's desperation time now. He got no ball.
No, he didn't.
The referee thought he got ball. I thought so too from the run of play.
Yeah.
That was a free kick. That was a foul.
And that was a great opportunity there for Cavalier to score. And with only the goalkeeper confronting Atkinson, that could have been a red card candidate as well.
Well, if that was given as a foul, it would have had to be a red card.
Yes. Deacon struck in the face.
Yeah, I don't think it was intentional, but he books him. Giovanni Lang goes into the book. To see that again, I thought it was a flailing arm. I didn't think he struck. So this is the play. Ooh. Is that intentional? I don't think so.
Wow.
There's no doubt he... No.
He looked as if he could have stopped himself, and he didn't, so it may count as intentional.
Yeah, so red card to Giovanni Lang.
So you know that every time,
Yellow, sorry.
every time Deacon gets it now and Lang comes to confront him, he's going to try to take him on.
Yeah.
And they get him a second yellow. Why have one yellow where you can have two, son?
That's right. Lang, one of the 7 starters on the Cavalier roster today, who started in the Premier League final last October against Waterhouse. A triumphant evening it was for the men in black and white.
The referee having words with Lang just the same. I wonder why. Maybe explaining why I had to book you. Lang was probably saying it was an accident, ref.
First caution of the season. Again, going to Cavalier's number 3, Giovanni Lang, unofficially in the 41st minute. That's number 3, Cavalier, Giovanni Lang, caution.
English tackles really well for Cavalier. Here goes Anderson. English again. Player with a lot of quality, Brian English. There goes Kenroy Campbell. His cross inside, threatening. Handball from Anderson.
Yeah, had his feet planted. Was trying to lean to take that on the chest, but only the arm got there.
Yeah, less than 5 minutes to the halftime break. Here's a cross inside and looked really, really threatening. But he was a little behind Anderson in his effort to try to get it, handled the ball.
On the point of Arnott Gardens and how well they've played so far this half, they've had a lot of crosses into the Cavalier box. A couple of them dangerous, but for the most part, because the Cavalier defenders boast superior height relative to the Arnott Gardens attackers, it's not been uncomfortable for Topi and company to clear those crosses. Maybe Arnott may need to mix that up in the second half. Keep the ball on the floor some more.
Yeah, Deacon on the counter, slowly. A little bit overhit that pass to slowly. And he isn't able to get through King, who I must say over 6 feet tall, and then the 6'5" Jamoy Topi, his partner at central defense, present some real physical obstacles for Arnott Gardens as they try to go forward. Johnson, Cephas, Willis, Martin, Johnson again. slowly. Oh, good work here by Deacon. Oh, his second touch. Inadvertent and knocking the ball behind, and he's beside himself with disappointment.
Yeah. We want that play back because he did ever so well to shake his marker. Had him chasing shadows in the hot sun. But got lucky with the touch ricocheted off him. But just here, that touch was too heavy. Yeah, they say Colin Anderson was a member of the track and field team at Calabar Lands. They say he's the fastest one in this Cavalier lineup. That's saying something.
Well, that would probably make him the fastest man on the field, period.
And perhaps the league.
Yeah.
And I like a quick attacker, Lance. And I'm thinking of them, and I'm thinking of Okasa Chung from Harbourview.
Yes.
Some really rapid balls. But yeah, Colin Anderson, they say he wins the foot race here on this Cavalier team.
Okasa Chung was joint leading scorer in the Premier League last year. Himself and Jordan Fletcher and Shaquille Bradford. Bradford from Waterhouse and Fletcher from Mount Pleasant.
And I mentioned Chung, even though Harbourview is not playing, because it's good to see young players in a league like this frighten experienced defenders. And there were games I did last year, Harbourview games, where you could see the defenders were scared when he picked it up.
Yeah. Oh, Willis gives the ball away, but recovers. Topi putting pressure on Cephas. Cephas does well to protect the ball from Topi. Really good work there from Cephas, and now sends Deacon going down the right flank. Airborne wants the ball on the penalty spot. Strike to the near post. White has no difficulties. Top solid goalkeeper who handles the job with assurance.
Yeah, but a half a dozen step overs trying to buy himself time and space. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to shake the defender. Yeah, he's good value. When he's on, he's really a crowd pleaser. Damari Deacon, they love him. They're not, they do the Sporting Sports Complex.
Yeah. So you're almost up to the end of the first half, and a pretty decent first half. You know, moments of lack of clinical play exhibited by both teams. 3 minutes added on for stoppages, the fourth official says. But given it's the first match of the season, George, and the conditions being as hot and windy as they are, you don't want to be too hard on the players at the moment.
No, I wouldn't use my ready pen just yet. But on the point of imprecision, I think Cavalier more than Arnett, because Cavalier have been in counter-attack situations where the pass has just been wrong. And then at Kingswood, well, I was fouled when through on goal with Anderson in support, and I didn't get the call. So they'll feel unlucky too. But Speed would believe that we've had the opportunities. And then Kyle Mings missed, don't forget that. Yes. The biggest miss of the half.
Yes. Also on opportunities built, Cavalier should have been in front now.
Yes.
Cephas protects the ball well. It's one of the strongest points of his game. Cunningham to Simpson, Johnson. Again, Cephas protecting the ball. Seems to be pretty hard to knock him off the ball. Willis does well here. Johnson wants it, but Willis gives it to his captain instead. Center of the field, Arnett Gardens. Live wire, Deacon now has it. Martin. Oh, effort on goal there from Willis. That's why we've seen him score from those positions, so he has the confidence to go for it, but on that occasion pretty uneventful.
Yeah, but the pass was on because Marlon Martin was making the run centrally, who wanted that ball played in his path. The thing is I like when I see teams which have more than one leaders, because even though the man wearing the armband is Guthrie, Willis is the man telling each man in possession of the ball where to pass it. I like that.
Good work here from Orlando Maxwell. Oh, the cross inside, the flick onto the post and behind. Almost the Cavalier goal.
Lovely from the boys in black and white, shaking the Arnett Gardens defense from side to side. It was on the left and on the right, then switched to the left again. And Dwayne Atkinson's run. Look at this pass into his path, bending all the time. Was stretching, just wanted to get something on it. And the goalkeeper, they say the crossbar is his best friend. Well, the uprights and the crossbar, the goalkeeper's best friend. Best friend coming to the rescue of William Price.
Atkinson was foiled by Simpson in a breakaway. It's about 10 minutes ago. And there was a second opportunity, this time in the box. Not an easy opportunity because there was a lot of pace on the cross and he had to stretch to get a boot onto it and didn't have the comfort to direct it accurately on goal. Half time.
Yeah, well, there's a first half of football in this season under tough conditions. I'm not complaining about the football I've seen so far, Whittaker, I can tell you that.
Yeah, there's Kyle Ming, the Cavalier captain, who missed the best opportunity of the match so far. But it's been an even contest between these two teams. Possession pretty much even between Arnett Gardens and Cavalier, the defending champions here in the midday sun, tackling Arnett Gardens team that were 9th last year, and the 5-time champions looking to improve significantly on the uncharacteristic poor season they had in 2021. So it's half-time, no goals between Arnett Gardens and Cavalier, the UWI-JFF captain Horace Burrell, centre of excellence. We're back at the UWI-JFF captain Horace Burrell Centre of Excellence for the opening game of the 2022 Jamaica Premier League season, and it's the defending champions Cavalier up against Arnett Gardens. No goals in the first half, but a pretty tense battle between these two teams. They've pretty much shared the ball evenly between themselves. Cavalier getting the best chances, or the better chances to score in the match, but unable to put the ball in the back of the net. And Arnett Gardens at the moment are holding the defending champions and looking to improve significantly on the very, very disappointing season they had last year. Arnett Gardens 9th last year with only 2 wins. Those 2 victories over Portmore, can you believe it? And Humberland, who finished bottom of the table. As you mentioned, they had only 8 goals last year, Arnett Gardens, and they finished bottom of the table, Humberland. And here's Damari Deacon, very, very skillful player, a live wire in the Arnett Gardens team, slapped in the face there by Giovanni Leng, who got the only yellow card of the first half. And the hustler causing some problems here for the Cavalier defenders. There's Leng just jockeying, a little hesitant to commit himself, because Deacon is the type of player with his pace and trickery can leave you standing. Ralton Nemhard, the man with the whistle this afternoon, and getting ready to get things going for the start of the second half here. So as we concluded, George, as the kickoff happens for the start of the second half, Arnett Gardens, very, very disappointing last year, looking to start their new season in a manner that will give them some more optimism that the season can be better in 2022, and so far they've done reasonably well.
Yes, indeed. A decent first half by them. There were some moments that the coach would have, well, there was cause for the coach to talk to the defenders about their positioning and perhaps their organization as a collective defensive unit. But you'd have seen a lot that he would have been pleased about in the opening 45 minutes.
Yeah, Len gives the ball away slowly. Len gets in the way again here. Anderson with a strike, it hits the post and out off the crossbar. What a ferocious strike from Anderson. Goalkeeper Price had no clue.
Yeah.
Webster.
Dozy defending by Arnett Gardens. The ball turned over and Anderson had a lot of time to take the ball, turn and strike without a challenge.
Good cross. Simpson with the clearance out. Leng with a header trying to keep the pressure on. Wow, bit of a toe poke there from Arboin.
Stronger than a poke, it was a toe punt. But yeah, just now playing out to defense Arnett Gardens. Willis late to the ball. Look at Anderson, gets it, turns with one motion, and the Price grateful to his crossbar again.
Yeah. Cunningham's clearance out. Cephas. Webster to, now Ming has it. Ming's cross is partially blocked and Arnett's defenders are now getting the ball away. Webster does well. Still Webster. Tumbles over from the challenge from Johnson. Free kick to Cavalier. About 25 or 26 yards out.
Protests by the Arnett Guards number 10 man, but that was a foul. Webster battling his way through challenges from 3 defenders. Still yet to pick himself up off the floor. Does so now.
Yeah, Webster stand out in schoolboy football for St. Elizabeth Technical and then Wolmer's.
The way that he's nifty and his footwork is outstanding. He has a successor at Stets now wearing the number 10, Roheen Williams, I can tell you. Warm young player.
Topi with a free kick for Cavalier. Goes directly for goal, but just glances on the top of the Arnett wall. He's won himself a corner there, but he was going for goal there, Topi. Yep. 6 feet 5 inches. Jamoy Topi scored the go-ahead goal for Cavalier in their final against Waterhouse last October with a headed strike from a corner. Not surprising that he would be tallest and getting most height to connect with a header on a corner. Campbell's a left-footed corner. The bicycle kick attempted by Webster. Not sure if he was going for goal or if he was just trying to keep the ball alive for one of his attacking players.
The latter. What Cavalier have done so far in the first 4 minutes of this, or so of this of the second half, they've stopped Arnett Gardens playing the ball out of defense. They've done that really well, closing down.
Ming, under some pressure, didn't have too many passing options initially, but held the ball up well enough and was patient enough. So when the passes appeared, he was able to effect one. Deacon, good skill by Deacon. Cunningham gives the ball away. There goes Anderson. Tries to slide the ball forward. I think he was looking there for Maxwell, didn't get to him. And now Willis. Well read there by King. And Campbell goes charging away now for Cavalier. Atkinson's shot is blocked. King, still King, still King. Left-footed on the near post. Price makes the stop. Yeah. And the Arnett defenders get the ball away.
Yeah, was breaking through with a lot of pace, Richard King. Nobody wanted to tackle him. Nobody wanted to engage him. Price's barrier at his near post effective.
Oh, delightful ball forward. There goes on it. Cephas! What a save by Jadine White! Deacon tries to retrieve. Topin knocks him over.
Buys a free kick. That was a brilliant save, but I tell you what, Topi's tackle, Topi's challenge was enough to really put Cephas just off his balance. This was a superb pass, bent into his direction from Arboin. And look at the challenge just right there, just enough. Just enough to knock him just off balance at the crucial moment.
Yeah, very, very close call there. Cephas looked as if he was clean on goal, but the tall, far-striding Topi just unsettled him a bit as he was about to strike.
I think Jadine White got a little bit of, got a hand on it, and then it hit his shoulder as well. That was a fierce strike nonetheless, despite him being off balance.
So both teams have had good scoring opportunities in the match so far. Here's the Cavalier opportunity just a few minutes earlier with King darting his way through.
Look at how Cunningham engaged him, because he's coming at such pace. Nobody really wanted to put in a real challenge, and so it was basically ushered through.
Yeah. So the other end of the pitch now. 25 meters from goal to the far post. Too much weight on it. Goal kick to Cavalier.
You brought your gadgets out today, Whittaker. Fancy that.
Yeah, so there's Ajuma Johnson just overhitting that one a bit. But
maybe the wind. Maybe the wind as well.
Right. We're both excited to see his input for Arnett Gardens today in the left fullback position. Having known him, as we've said in the first half, George, as an attacking forward player for Tivoli and also briefly Cavalier. Yeah, that one crossed the line. Throw to Arnett close to the halfway line.
A lot to like about this new Arnett Gardens team. And when we say new, we don't mean partially new. It is rather new. A lot of pace in it. Looks to be a lot of quality as well.
Cephas. Still Cephas. So,
goal kick.
Topi putting the initial pressure on. And then Kyle Ming finishing the job. Ming, one of the rotated captains for the Cavalier team during their successful 2021 campaign. Actually wore the captain's armband, Ming did, in the final when they beat Waterhouse. Yeah, this Arnett Gardens team looking a lot more confident and assured than the team that struggled to 9th place last year. Cunningham. Simpson. Johnson. Yeah, they're giving the ball away. And the dangerous Anderson tries to get some room to do some stuff. Deacon with a very quick pass forward. But King reads the play very quickly and breaks the danger up. Throw to Arnett fairly inside the Cavalier half.
Yep. Both teams comfortable in one-on-one situations because they know they're up against quick forwards, but they too are quick, the defenders, the centre halves especially. So there's almost no panic when a forward comes hearing through.
Arboin under some pressure there, but finds Cephas assisting. Webster can't get to that. Simpson is there. Goes all the way back to his goalkeeper, Price. Good work by the goalkeeper. Deliver it forward. Johnson. Willis has two men unmarked way over on the right. Deacon is one of them. Slowly. Good sliding challenge coming in from King. He's been very, very outstanding at central defense for Cavalier today. Himself and Jamoy Topi making things really difficult for the Arnott frontmen.
Yeah, very good approach play though. Very good football all round. The winger takes possession, comes inside, the fullback overlaps him on his outside, always good, gets the cross in. That's what you want to see as a coach from an attacking perspective for Arnott Gardens.
Oh, the header on goal. The clearance almost off the line. Deacon, you want to take this defender on, and does. Knocked over. Brian English looking for the reverse pass, yes, and gives it. Atkinson fails to go through a cluster of Arnott tackles. Martin. Johnson. Not a bad effort there, but the pass needed to be a little bit stronger.
Yeah, but that wasn't the pass. The pass was to Deacon to his right. It was in loads of space. Shouldn't have been a central pass.
Here's that.
Actually came off Webster. It missed Topi, missed Simpson, and then off Webster's shoulder as he was on his way down from the jump.
There goes Johnson. Cephas. Yeah, Arnott patient from the back. Cunningham slowly. Deacon. Good pass inside to Guthrie, who has not had a lot of the ball so far in this half. Slowly cross, dangerous. Topi gets in the way.
Again, good attacking play, playing out from the back, getting your winger involved, getting the overlapping fullback involved. Good football from Arnott Gardens, but good defending from Topi on point.
Yeah, the start of the second half here for Arnott Gardens has looked promising, George.
Yeah, but after they were penned in for the first 5 minutes or so by Cavalier, who were pressing and ensuring that the defenders couldn't start the play from the back, Arnott Gardens, because of the wind, well, perhaps because of the wind, not going the long ball route, looking to play out from the back. So they've been able to do so for the past few minutes, but at the start of the second half, they were constrained because of how effectively the Cavalier boys were closing them down.
Taken well on the chest by Slowly. English. Anderson took his eyes off the ball and lost it. Maxwell. Atkinson, what a strike! What a save from Price! Oh, that was good stuff on both sides.
Wow, that is going to be one of the saves of the round, I can tell you that. Atkinson did everything right. Faked as if he was going to burst down his left, then chops in on the right foot, sends Cunningham the wrong way, and curls for that far side, the left side. Price read it like a children's novel. Was right there with that outstretched left hand to turn it away. That's a big save.
Yeah, and you knew Atkinson was going to strike it. Hit a handful of goals for Cavalier last season as well. His good pace and his good eye for goal. And he struck it well, but Price was equal to the task. Lots of white shirts filling up the box, including the tall man, Jamoy Topi. Whose header finds the back of the net. Jamoy Topi, the tall man, puts Cavalier in front 1-0. First goal of the new season, and the defending champions are off and running.
Yeah, when you have your beanpole centre half, you look for him from the dead ball situations. This corner curled onto his head. No competition for him in terms of an Arnott Gardens player of similar height to contest this. And look at Topi. You know what is funny? Topi didn't even jump. He was planted to the floor, feet firmly on the floor when the ball dropped to him. But the arc on the cross was such, he didn't have to jump to meet it. Stood where he was, stood strong on the challenge from Marlon Martin in his back, offering some pressure. He just eased his forward into it to direct it away from goalkeeper Price. That's a funny one, Lance, beg your pardon. A funny one because Topi's the tallest man on the field, tallest man for Cavalier then. He didn't have to jump for that cross. He stood and headed that in.
Yeah, so he was unmarked. So the Arnott defenders will have some explanation to do for Coach Eric Rademakers. So Jamoy Topi turned 22 years old last Thursday, gets a belated birthday gift here presented to him on a platter. And Cavalier, you could say, deservedly take the lead here because they have been closest to scoring all match so far. But Arnott have played well enough to suggest that they're still in the game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Cavalier, two efforts off the crossbar. Kyle Mings' bad miss in the first half. So yeah, Arnott's efforts have just gone in the orbit of Jadine White, who's come up with the saves necessary. But they're not out of this yet.
Yeah. Deacon for Arnott. Ming gets the ball away. Cunningham's clearance upfield finds Martin. Martin stud showing on Atkinson and wins a free kick. So second consecutive Premier League match. Topi scores because he scored in the final match of the season last year from a header as well at this very same end, and does it again today.
So they've sent for Parker Blacks, Fabian Reid. Cephas's time is done. Arnott Garns making the change immediately. Well, less than 2 minutes after going behind.
Yeah. Looks a few pounds heavier, George. Fabian Reid does now than the last time we saw him a couple of seasons ago. But he's a man with vast experience. Also had a stint with the San Juan Jablote in Trinidad and Tobago's Pro League. We'll also see Ricky Hill in action today, debuting as the Montego Bay United coach. Also had a stint at San Juan Jablote some time ago in the TNT Pro League.
Number 7, Ronaldo Cephas, replaced by number 13, Fabian Reid, in the 63rd.
Yeah, so a substitution almost always attaches itself to a change in formation or a shuffling of personnel. And the man playing furthest forward is going to be Fabian Reid. And Arboin has switched to the right-hand side and Deacon has gone left. So whereas Deacon was looking to cut in on his favorite left foot previously, I did the first half, now he can go outside the defender on the dribble. So let's see if that helps Arnott Gardens to penetrate. Oh, Cunningham. A bad pass. He kicks that into touch under absolutely no pressure. Only the wind talking to him. And the wind must have told him to kick the ball outside for a throw to Cavalier. And he did. Wow. Jadine White down, looking requiring treatment, Lance.
Yeah, probably the hot boots again, which we saw many times last year, where the heat generated from the artificial surface into the sole of the boots give the players a huge deal of discomfort. I suspect that could be his problem at the moment.
If we go back to the goal, Lance, and the corner kick, the fact is, the way the corner was delivered, it couldn't have been stopped at the first post because it arced over everybody who was at the first post, and then it just suddenly dropped at the back post, and the tallest man didn't even have to jump. So if you were on guard, you couldn't believe that it could have been cut up, because look at how it bends. Yes. Almost right to the edge of the 6-yard box. So there were bodies between Price and Topi when he made connection. But he doesn't jump. He just stands there, holds off Marlon Martin, who's in his back, and just guides home.
Yeah, Arnott would be disappointed with conceding a goal like that. But it's very difficult to defend this 6'5" 22-year-old in the box, isn't it?
Well, if we're to go by the last point you made about the criticism for the goal, yes, the coaching staff will criticize because they say, yes, Topi's the tallest man on the pitch, but he didn't jump.
Yeah.
So how can you have his
size? I'm just saying that his size, even though he didn't have to jump and he's so tall, he's a mountain of a man. So to mark him, to manhandle him in a situation where people are jostling for the ball is not always easy.
And that's a counterpoint that the defender will make, because Martin will say, well, I was exerting pressure, but he's a big lad, he's bigger than me.
Yes.
And stronger. And he just planted his feet and just let his head do the rest. Good header.
Yeah, so Cavalier ended their championship season in 2021 on a 5-game unbeaten run. And looking to stretch that to 6 games here. And
what would be, if it is a 3-point game for them, a satisfying start to the defending champions, or for the defending champions. Our coaching staff, Rudolph Speed and David Layler. Layler himself a former defender for Cavalier. While they were not playing Premier League football, they had not returned, as far as I recall it, to the top flight just yet, so they were playing Casafa football. I was joking with him before the kickoff, George, David Layler, that when Cavalier won their last Premier League title back in 1981, he was just a bit of a lad, probably 12 or 13 years old, hadn't started playing real serious football yet. And he's a pretty big man at the moment.
Yep. The emphasis on big.
Again, Deacon topples over from a Topi challenge.
Yeah, kicked by Topi as Topi was going for the ball. Got his foot there first, Deacon. Wants the big man to get a yellow card. Referee not interested.
English chasing. Good sliding challenge from English. Maxwell. Atkinson. Yeah, there's Arnold. Captain is down, yeah. Romeo Guthrie. Former Charlie Smith standout. Captain Romeo Guthrie.
I thought he was fouled from the challenge, but again the referee is closest to the, closer to the action than I am. He didn't see an infringement. This is the play once again. Yeah,
yeah.
He kicked through with the back of his calf. Well, kicked through his calf.
Yeah, that was a foul. So we're pretty much halfway through the second half, so the second half water break could be upon us soon. Guthrie limping out of the scene. Cunningham. Leng gets the header there.
For much of the game, Arnett Garns have been trying to go wide in the round. And of course, Deacon is the man most often being called into service. Arboin, they haven't gone to him as much. Reed's touch again heavy.
Slowly retreats for Arnett. Arboin does really well here. Still Arboin. Tries to slide the ball in for Reed, but good work there by Cavalier on the defensive end. Martin. Simpson. Not a good pass from Simpson. Didn't find Johnson.
Hasn't had a bad game, Earl Simpson, as we see the players called for another water break.
Yeah.
And look, I would say that there haven't been many individual bad performances on the pitch across the teams.
Yeah, so in the water break, the coaches take a quick opportunity to have some words of strategy with their teams on this hot afternoon. Started off pre-match with the sanitization machine and how it was used by the players and all the officials involved in this match here, and George Davis had his walkthrough.
It's a fancy machine, but it is for the purpose of the times. Temperature and disinfectation, courtesy of Connex responses, to ensure that the temperatures get checked, that each player is sanitized, or each participant in today's game is sanitized. And frankly, there's no better way to do it. This is the way to go. This is the way of the world now.
Yeah, so George, it looks as if you passed that one with flying colours.
Yeah, the machine was so good by Connect Services. I added an Asian to disinfect and disinfection, as I was explaining to you. But yeah, it's what happens when you feel brand new, Lance. You put more on the existing things to make them better.
You sound like the Stylistics, George. 1976
you make me feel brand new.
That's right.
God bless you. God bless you.
Anderson with pace here, but Price, assertive, comes out of his box and averts the danger.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about what you made of Price's performance so far, but I thought it was a bit too early. Let the game run some more. What?
Yeah, good. I think he's been good. Yeah,
assertive.
He looked assertive to me.
Assertive, yeah, and very, very composed. He's brought off a couple of fine saves. And here's good thinking on his part, because Anderson is so fast, George. It wouldn't take much for Anderson to outrun those defenders. So if Price didn't get there, Anderson, I think, would have got there first.
Yep.
Maxwell. Oh, the good dummy there attempted by Atkinson. Maxwell goes long. Does Ming have the legs to get to it? He does. Can he get the cross inside? Tackle up very quickly by Johnson. Yeah, Anderson attempting to strike that one on goal. Acres of room on the right side here now for Arboin. Reed is waiting for it toward the far post. Arboin still under a lot of pressure here. Atkinson really harassing the Arnott number 12, and eventually it's Leng that gets the successful challenge in. Gives up a corner, I think, but does well enough to fend off the Arnott attack.
Yeah, I think Guthrie's feeling an injury, the captain, because guess what? When he passed that ball to Arboin, he should have continued his sprint to take the defender away from him, to give Arboin the luxury of coming inside, but he didn't open up the play.
Oh, his pass to the far post. Wow, that was Simpson going up for the header, but didn't gather enough elevation to get the header on.
Very good shape on that cross.
Cross. King with the header out. Yeah, Arnott showing that they are into this game still. Header on goal, attempted. Whistle on the play, I think. Reed guilty of a foul here on the defender. Is that Leng, I think, tumbling over from the challenge, yeah. Yeah, Fabian Reed there going up for the header.
Yeah, the forearm smash into the back of Giovanni Leng. As I noted from the first half, Arnott have put in some good-looking crosses, but most of the headers have been won by Cavalier because they boast superior height and power in those situations. It's going to take something of a surgeon's precision to find an offensive play back from Arnott Gardens to get a decent headed opportunity against this Cavalier defense.
Yeah. I thought Ronaldo Cephas had a fairly decent game.
I did too.
Good enough that he could have retained his place in the lineup, but he was replaced by Reed. Yeah, hefty challenge there on Leng, and referee Veralton Nemar doesn't like the challenge.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I want to see a replay. Was that in the box? Arboin did very well to run across the defender.
I think it was just outside though.
To commit him.
I think the contact was just
outside. So here's
outside.
the touch. Yeah. Outside.
Yeah. So Arnott keeping Cavalier honest. Yeah. Referee Nemar awarding the free kick here to Arnott. Shivani Willis is going to strike it. Not too much red and black presence in the box. Now Arnott's tallest man, Janoy Cunningham, in the number 5 shirt, goes in to beef up the presence in the box for Arnott. It's Deacon who will bend it left-footed, I think. Oh, plays it short, and here comes Guthrie. Miss kicks. Nelson, that's Johnson. English, delightful ball across here. Finds Campbell. Campbell cuts the ball back in. Oh, and Anderson loses his footing and loses the ball. Great opportunity there for Cavalier. Here comes Anderson now, though. Doesn't get a clean shot off.
What a sequence. Kick the turf, but it's a corner. Well, not kick the turf. The boot, a defender's boot, got there just in time, just as he was about to take the strike. A substitution being made, well, 2 substitutions being made by Cavalier when time allows. So this is English's pass into the path of Campbell. I thought he should have pressed on, but he checks his run, holds his run, inside pass, and it's behind Anderson. And the recovering effort, look at what Guthrie does. Passes it to Willis, and Willis ought to do better. He gives it away. Then Anderson takes a touch to steady himself, and Willis got back.
17, Shanil Thomas. So those are the 2 substitutions for the Cavalier Football Club. Number 8,
So Cavalier making a couple of changes.
Number 22, Colin Anderson, replaced by number 6, Nicky Murray, and number 17, Shanil Thomas.
So Murray, Nick Murray and Shanil Thomas are now on for Cavalier.
One substitution took place in the 76th minute.
Reed being chased by King. Holds the ball up well, Reed. Still Reed. He has Guthrie with him. Still Reed. Guthrie. Back inside. Reed left-footed. Just wide.
That would have been some goal. That's what you talk about, experience. Had it on the run, only had 1 man in support of him, the Barry Deacon, and just waited. Played the 1-2, the exchange of passes with Guthrie, and almost, but for a defender's boot, would have had a shot on target.
Yeah, the deflection there. Yeah, Guthrie turns the ball back inside here, and Reed just finds Jamoy Tope's left boot getting in the way. Johnson. Deacon. Initial stop there by Jadine White in goal, and his defenders complete the clearance.
Change being made by Arnett Garns, another one, lads.
Yeah.
Well, soon.
Yeah, Bebeto McDonald on the sidelines waiting to be inserted into the game. Willis. Reed. Yeah, Willis with a quick pass. Deacon still goes to the side netting. Reed and Arboyne in the box waiting for the crossby turned in by Deacon. Deacon went for it himself and hit the side netting. Disappointing.
Look where his captain is, Guthrie. The cutback to him would have been on as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Deacon should have done a lot better there. His angle was tight and his teammates were well positioned, offering themselves as passing options, and Deacon went for it himself.
I tell you what, I was just about to commend him for something, Lance, because that play that finished with Fabian Reed shooting, that was started in the Arnett Gardens half. As we see Jadine White, he's down, needs treatment. Deacon, Lance, executed a ball. The ball was in the air about 30 yards, and he sprinted and took it down 1 time without breaking stride. And that's the play that led to Fabian Reed fashioning that chance after an exchange of passes with his captain Romeo Guthrie.
Yeah, there's Deacon. He's disappointed because his finishing effort was poor, but I can tell you his teammates are even more disappointed than he is. Yeah, this
is the play, Lance. The ball will go. Look at this.
Yeah, quality.
And then he feeds Reed up front. And then when people talk about what player has experience, this is what experience is. You know what to do, calm. Only have 1 pass available. I don't like that pass. I'm going to wait. Look at how long he waits. And several players are calling him now. He still waits.
Yes.
This is lovely play. This warranted a goal.
Yeah.
But for the foot of Tope.
Yeah. Quality from Fabian Reed. There goes Deacon. Still Deacon. Martin goes wide. Johnson. Tope gets in the way. Reads the ball so well. Tope. Webster. Cunningham doesn't get by Atkinson. Atkinson wants to set himself up for a shot.
English caught flat-footed. To be quite honest, I didn't expect Atkinson to pass. Everyone knows Atkinson likes to set the ball up for right-footed strikes. And I just get the feeling that English felt that's what he was going to do.
Yep.
Yeah, God, Cunningham allowed Atkinson to get away from him here. Here's the play, George. When you see Atkinson do this, you're pretty much certain that he's setting himself up to shoot. And I think English also probably didn't want to run into an offside position, so he was pretty much standing there.
And in an event, Marlon Martin was screening, so English wasn't expecting the pass at all. Surprised everyone with his decision to pass. Did Atkinson.
Yeah. It's knowing your players sometimes and what they're likely to do. Deacon twisting and turning. English gets in the way.
But again, Arnott comfortable playing with this high line, even though these Cavalier front boys are rapid, because they fancy the ability of their defenders to get back into defensive positions, which they did on that counter-attack.
They did. Johnson for Arnott Garden. Still in the game, Arnott. The cross. Guthrie banged into Willis. Does like to strike them from distance, Willis. Being harassed constantly by Webster. Johnson's cross dangerous. King gets in the way. He has had so much today, Richard King. Willis with a strike. Oh, what a save from Jadine White. That was one of the trademark strikes from Shafana Willis. We've seen him score those many, many times, even from Manning Cup days at Jamaica College. And that one brought the best out from White.
Brilliant from Willis. Even better from Jadine White. Would have seen that late, coming through several bodies, but on point to turn that away. Good football. Very good football.
Slowly. King with a header again. Looks to have hurt himself as well as he fell. Just grabbing onto his right knee. He's still on the floor. Referee allows the play to go on. King is in a lot of pain. A lot of pain as he went up for the header and came down. Looked to have jarred his right knee.
Well, why are they stretching him if it's an injury? Because it's not cramp. Or perhaps it is.
Yeah, we're not sure. I know that as soon as he hit the turf, though. But he's in a lot of pain, it seems.
Yeah, it seems as if cramp in the thigh, cramp in the calves. It's the first game of the season. You expect this. All right, make another change.
Yeah.
Change for Arnott.
Number 15, Marlon Martin.
Goes up. Martin is out.
Replaced by number 16, Rashid Kelson. So that's Kelson, number 16, in number 15.
Rashid Kelson replaces Marlon Martin for Arnott Gardens. So Arnott making a change.
Yeah, so as you saw in the landing, it wasn't an impact injury. It was just cramp, a good old cramp. And again, as we've said for the schoolboys, especially early in the schoolboy season, you see a lot of them falling to cramp, but especially in the Premier League. And we've been doing this for enough seasons, Lance, for this to be a feature of Premier League seasons at the start. A lot of players are going to be suffering from cramp at this stage of games.
Yeah. Hot and windy. Johnson for Arnott. Another corner. As English presented himself and got in the way. So Cavalier playing stout defensive football here, trying to protect the 1-0 lead they have. They have just under 6 minutes of normal time remaining. 9 Arnott, 10 Cavalier men in the box defending this one. Whistle. And there's a Cavalier player down again.
Yep. Took a head in the back of his head. Looks to be Leng, is he?
Yeah, it could be Leng.
Another change being made by Cavalier, Lance.
Yeah, Cavalier getting ready to insert someone else. And there seems to have been a change of mind on the Arnott Gardens roster, because we did see Bebeta McDonald on the sideline warming up, but he's the one that came on. It was Rashika Kelson, so something happened that forced Coach Rademacher's change of
He's
plan.
actually on the park. That's McDonald.
Oh, he's here now?
Yeah, Bebeto McDonald is on.
Okay, so Bebeto McDonald, well travelled. Had 2 separate seasons for Arnett Gardens back in 2015 and 2017, but did also have stints at Barbican, Waterhouse and Boystown and Harbourview before landing back at Arnett Gardens, which I guess is where many people feel he belongs since he was a Charlie Smith standout. Yeah, there he is. Stocky, strong, and a man who loves to kick at goal.
You can call him a Kasafa nomad.
Yeah.
Willis's effort, though, really, really good. The ball detonating off his laces, and Jadine White, cat-like reflexes that dive to his right, low two. Really good save.
Yeah.
We've seen a big save from Price.
Yeah.
And a smart save from White.
And an opening encounter for the season, George, that served up some pretty tidy performances. So much so that when we're going to decide on the man of the match for this fixture, it can't be straightforward. Topi's winning header and his solid defensive work certainly puts him in the conversation, but both goalkeepers have been outstanding. And there's King at central defense for Cavalier, who has been really solid as well.
You speak truth. Topi was shaded for me because of his goal and that block from Fabian Reed's effort.
Yes.
And his overall defensive play.
Yeah. I don't think it could be challenged, really, given his impact on the game. But there would, I suggest, be at least 2 or 3 other honourable mentions.
It's been a good game, I can tell you that. And what helps, and I've been saying this from the last season, even though it's a synthetic surface, the quality of the pitch has made the football better. I saw games here last season, struggle games, where if it was on the usual pitches, it would have been awful.
Yes, I agree. Shaniel Thomas, one of his substitutes just on for Cavalier. Cavalier, by the way, not having their outstanding St. Lucian Melvin Doxley this season after his outstanding performance. The St. Lucian last year as a utility player, played defense, holding midfielder all over the place for Cavalier. But he's now contracted to some club in Europe, so he has gotten an opportunity to take his game to a higher level.
Yeah, Cavalier club official says in Poland.
Yeah.
Good luck to him.
Deacon, cross to the near post, and White has no difficulties there.
Yeah. Deacon has certainly caught the eye. Just some crucial moments where the decision making was bad. But he for the most part, he's added to the Arnett Gardens attacking thrust. His presence has been felt today for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's McCleary that's now on for Cavalier. And Murray just getting a touch as well. Topi getting in there, putting pressure on, but just knocked off the ball by Reed, who looks to have hurt himself in the process as well. McCleary doesn't have the legs to keep that one in.
And you know what has been strange? I just realized it. Arnett Gardens, well, neither of these two teams have tried to play the offside trap this afternoon. I find that to be pointed because the speed of the respective attackers, especially the Cavalier attackers, not once have Arnett Gardens tried to set an offside trap.
Yeah.
They've tried to match, to defend one-on-one, and if a man runs through, you chase him and try to get back, try to get some organization. And both teams have done that very well, but I don't think there's been one offside in this game. Most teams who play Cavalier will try to catch them in the offside situations.
Yes. Guthrie goes wide here too slowly. Reed among those in the box waiting for it, but Guthrie, the shot that's easily handled by the Cavalier defenders. Atkinson handles the ball inadvertently, but the kick goes to Arnott and they take it quickly. Time running out on Arnott. We're on to 90 minutes now. Ming's header out finds English. Shanil Thomas knocked over, and Simpson doesn't agree with the referee's call.
Yeah, when he elevated Simpson, his knee came up, and that's what crashed into the back of Shanil Thomas, as you'll see here. Yeah, that's a foul.
Yeah, and his arm all over his head as well. Shanil Thomas scored twice last year when Cavalier defeated Arnott Gardens by 3-0 in the single round condensed Jamaica Premier League for 2021.
Cavalier making another change.
Yeah, the number 19, that's Tavar Thompson, that's getting ready to come on. So Atkinson being taken out of the game. Dwayne Busy Atkinson, former Kingston College schoolboy standout, exits the field, and we're into stoppage time now. And Tavar Thompson is gonna come on for the Cavalier team. So Arnott beaten 3-0 by Cavalier last year. A lot better today in this performance. Only 1-0 the score at the moment. As I said, 2 goals by Shanil Thomas. And a third strike by Melvin Duxon in the St. Lucian, propelling Cavalier to their 3-0 win last year. But it's been a lot tougher for them today against an improved looking Arnott Gardens team. 6 minutes added on for stoppages. And Arnott continuing to show that they're going to fight to the end.
Yeah, much better. I saw them a couple of times last year. I did a couple of those games. None of those games did they look as well as they've looked today. And they're losing here, but improvement. There is improvement, evident.
Yeah,
is what I'll say.
Guthrie. Deacon just tries to push the ball into the path of Fabian Reed, but Leng reads the ball well. Deacon. Willis. There's Willis. Simpson. Goes wide to Johnson. Johnson has pace. Cunningham. Simpson goes up for the header, doesn't connect. Here comes Guthrie. Guthrie will strike, he does! Just over the top.
Yeah. So many bodies in front of him, was trying to go high. Obviously, from the moment he shifted that ball onto his right foot, was trying to go high, trying to look high to beat J.D. White. And it was too high.
Yeah, there's the effort. Yeah, had a lot of power, but went high. So the young Arnott Gardens captain struggling here to lift his team to success. Only 2 wins from their 10 matches last year, Arnott Gardens. Willis under pressure. Johnson. Significantly, a lot of these Cavalier men, even with attacking roles, tend to come back to help out in defense when they lose possession of the ball. Deacon, can this be the Arnott equalizer? Reed, the cross back, and here's the effort on goal now. No shot yet. Good defending from Cavalier.
Yeah, very good defending. And upset with what Deacon did is Rashik Kelson, who felt that the cutback wasn't good enough. And they had an exchange of words just now, the Arnott Gardens men.
Yeah. I thought there was a little bit too much weight on that pass from Deacon as well to Reed. Put Reed at a... Oh, that strike on goal. It's Wilson. It's Shavana Willis. And Jaden White complaining to probably a couple of his attacking men or his defensive men. And it's a Willis strike that has Arnott now level. Here's the build-up.
Willis with a left-footed strike from 20 yards. And Cavaliers' stout effort to protect their 1-0 advantage disappears behind Willis's left foot.
That's a very, very good strike through a crowd of players. Jaden White didn't move because he couldn't see properly, didn't know which direction to move in. And I tell you what, the neutral fans and even the Cavalier fans wouldn't begrudge Arnett Garns a share of the points today because they've played that well. I think 1-1 is a fair result, providing, of course, it ends this way. Arnett Garns deserve to get something from this game, the way they've played this afternoon.
Yeah, they've worked hard, and to be fair, Cavaliers' defense line has had to be pretty robust here in the last 20 minutes to fend off the Arnett revival, which tells you that Arnett worked really hard for the equalizing goal. But are there more shots to fire here in this fixture? Ball searching there for Deacon. English. Shaniel Thomas. Strike! What a goal! Shaniel Thomas, the former Jamaica College standout, strikes a right-footed stop. Shot that was unstoppable. And in a flash, Cavalier are back in front. And we're out of time, I think.
Yeah, forget the share of the points. Cavalier want it all. They are greedy. They're the defending champions for a reason. That was a cracking finish from this young man. Look at Kyle Ming. Slips it to Shaniel Thomas. Going to him is Guthrie, but Guthrie doesn't get tight to him, and that's the point. Guthrie not tight. You know, look at Thomas feeling for the defender. Oh, he's not there. All right, I'm going to swivel and take a shot. And he crashes it just beneath the right hand of goalkeeper William Price. That's a match-winning goal, lads.
Well, if ever there was a statement from a defending champion that they're all about defending their title, we just saw it.
Absolutely so, absolutely. So we did say Arnett Garns deserved something from it, but deserve has got nothing to do with it. It's goals that win games. And Shaniel Thomas's strike, wicked and low, and comes at a time. Is it too late for Arnett Garns to respond?
I would think so. We're past 6 minutes of stoppage time, which was added on. And referee Nemhard will call a halt to this one pretty soon. And there it is now. Shivani Willis's futile effort from distance. It's Jamoy Tope's first half strike that gave Cavalier the advantage. The winning goal from Shaniel Thomas at the end. Shivani Willis had brought Arnett back in the game in stoppage time. You could easily have felt at that point that this game was going to end 1-1 and the share of the points. But Shaniel Thomas, who struck 2 goals when defeating Arnett Garns by 3-0 last season, comes up with a winning strike here. And Arnett Garns will not like to see his face.
Yeah, the champions showing resilience and showing that they have a lot of quality within their ranks just the same, and that they're serious about defending this title even after only 1 game. And you know what? I already like what I've seen from Arnett Garns. If this is as bad as they'll be, and they weren't bad today at all, they were good today, but if this is it, if they can play even better than this, the Junglists are in for a good season.
Yeah, so the final score, Cavalier 2-1 over Arnett Garns. Strikes by Shaniel Thomas and Jamoy Tope lifting the defending champions to the 2-1 victory. Shivani Willis with a left-footed strike had brought Arnett back into the game. And that is how it ended. The defending champions off and running for the 2022 season. And Arnett Garns, spirited in their outing today, beaten 2-1. From the kickoff, Cavalier had shown their intentions. William Price had a good game in goal for Arnett Garns. Cavalier had several moments here in this fixture. This one, Kyle Ming on the far post, failing to steer this one in, unchallenged. Another effort here, Dwayne Atkinson for Cavalier hitting the crossbar. William Price in goal for Arnett, scrambling to keep it out. Another crossbar struck by Colin Anderson. Arnett had their moments. Cephas with a Tremendous right-footed strike, but Jane White gets in the way. Atkinson. Brilliant save by William Price, diving full length to his left to keep that one out. And there's Topi's headed goal, just steering that one in from the corner. No Arnett Garns player able to stop the 6'5" defender. And this was the Cavalier go-ahead goal, which they kept until stoppage time. Brilliant build-up here for Arnett. Fabian Reed coming on as a late substitute. Topi getting in the way and deflecting it behind for a corner. Arnett again here on attack. And Willis with a left-footed strike. He kicks well with both feet, Shivani Willis. And he pumped that one in. Jadine White probably unsighted by a cluster of players in front of him, had no chance. And that was the Arnett equalizer in stoppage time. But just when we thought that's how it would have ended, here comes Shanil Thomas. Guthrie challenging, but doesn't cut the angle well enough. And a fierce right-footed strike beats Price on his near post. Well, Price is on his near post, but the ball beat his right hand. And that was a fine strike by the substitute, Shanil Thomas, for Cavalier. That was on 96 minutes. So Cavalier coming up with a victory by 2-1 and getting a fighting win against their old rivals, Arnett Gardens. So the two-time champions off and running for the new season, and they've worked hard for this victory. Outshot on goals, 9 shots on goal, only 4 on target. They had only 43% possession of the ball, Cavalier, but they worked hard for the victory here against Arnett Gardens. And our man of the match is Jamoy Topi, who is on the infield with George Davis.
Thank you, Lance. So we saw 3 goals today. The first of them came from the head of Jamoy Topi. Jamoy, congratulations on this opening win. First of all, what were the conditions like out there today?
Well, I mean, it was awful. The heat, it's killing us. A 1 o'clock game, and it's the AstroTurf. So, but we have to just put our mind and then just do it.
Last season we saw players having trouble with the heat and their boots, the footwear, almost as if they were playing in fire. Was that affecting you or any of your teammates today?
Yes, it was affecting me as well, but I have to just put my mind to it and just continue the game and finish strong.
All right, talk about the game now. Overall, your assessment of the performance of your team.
Well, I think, as you can see in the first half, we wanted it more, but after all, in the second, they came on press a bit higher, and we just adjust and try to catch them on the counter, and it happened.
For your goal, the corner kick, there was a challenge, but he was in your back. You didn't even have to jump.
Yeah. As I see my teammate run to cross the ball, then I just get myself some yards, and then that's what it.
Well, congratulations, and Jamoy, and we certainly hope that you will achieve success for the whole season. But before you go, are you confident that you have the quality in the ranks to defend your title?
Of course, we definitely have the same team from the last season, so we just have to defend the title.
All the best. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good. Jamoy Topi there. So I'm here joined now by the assistant coach for the Arnett Gardens team, Mr. Can we call you Raddy? Raddy Marcus, no problem. We thought that there were some good things that we saw from Arnett Gardens today that will make you not unhappy despite the result.
Well, of course, we see every day on the training ground what we're capable of. And when we see what we saw today, we saw some moments of it, but there's definitely a lot more that we can bring.
Yeah, in terms of let's talk about the 3 main sectors: offensively, defensively, and in the midfield. Which sector were you most pleased with?
Well, I would say that there's a lot of work to be done on all of them. When we look at the attacking phase, I think we did create chances. It's the finishing part. You have to put it in the back of the net to actually get the attacks to be successful. From the defensive side, I think we can do better on the passing over there, the passing accuracy coming out to the back. And then as well, when you see it in the last minute, the full focus for the 90-plus minutes that we really have to be there.
Yeah, finally, a bad season for Arnett Gardens by their lofty standards last year. Can you assure fans that this year they'll be seeing much better from this team?
Well, they'll be definitely seeing the weaker areas from last year, improvement on those, and I hope a lot of wins will follow on that. All
right, then all the best. We hope that you get better luck next time.
Thank you.
Good.
David Layla comes into the shot right now. David, the assistant coach of Cavalier. Congratulations, David. Firstly, well, your impression of the performance of your team today?
Well, it was a championship performance. I look at it, they did perform well. They Arne get back 1-1, and they show that we could still got a notch up more. So it was well done.
Yeah, and finally, in terms of the course of the season, are you satisfied with the quality of youngsters you have in the squad and in your hopes of defending this title?
Definitely, we are satisfied with the quality of the youngsters that we have, and they are work in progress and they are improving. So they get a little stint last year, a little touch, and they are now maturing into it even for a second season. So it's good for us that we have these youngsters with us.
Excellent, David. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good. Cavalier beating Arne Gardens 2-1 in the opening game of this Jamaica Premier League season. The first match of the doubleheader is done. Stay tuned. Montego Bay United up next in Game 2.